this is a concept video, and the target of this video is to help you understand atomicity. So if you are asked to find the number of atom in this compound KMnO4, recall that from our previous class we said there's an invisible one here, and so I would also want to introduce some other thing to you in this clip. There's also an invisible one here in front of the K and one here too. Now these numbers here are called the numbers of atom. So in this compound there's an invisible one here, so I'm going to place it there. So I'll do my multiplication and I'll get my number of atoms. How? I would say 1 times 1, 1. So the number of atom here, K, which is potassium, equals 1 atom. 1 atom. I'll go to the next one. This manganese, Mn, here is 1. So I would say 1 times 1 is 1, right? So I'd also have manganese, 1 atom. And lastly, you have oxygen, O for oxygen. This number written at the bottom down here is called the number of atom. Do not forget that this one here is called the number of mole or molecule, while the one written down is called the number of atoms. The reason for this clip is to help you understand how to actually balance any chemical equation you'd ever come across. So please pay attention to this keenly and perform your tasks after this video. So here we have 4 times 1, that's 4. So we have how many atoms? So O is 4 atoms. 4 atoms. That's that for that. I would like us to try another question on H2SO4. H2SO4. Now recall that there's an invisible one here, so I would advise you place it there, 1. So we'll do like what we did previously. So I would write out my H and I would say how many atoms. So I would say 2. This number down here is called the number of atoms. So hydrogen has 2. This one is called sulfur. Sulfur has 1 here. This is oxygen. Oh, oxygen. This oxygen has 4. So the number at the down is called number of atom, while the number over here is called the number of mole or molecule. So you say 2 times 1. You see that one is 2 times 1 is 2. So you have 2 atoms of hydrogen. You indicate it like this for me, 2 atoms. We'll go to the next one. We say this 1. We say 1. Let me just indicate it for you. So it's say 1 times 1. 1 on the S times this 1 at the front of everything here is 1. So I would say S equals 1 atom. And I'll move to the next one. We have 4 here, so I would say 4 times 1, that's 4. So we'd say 4, sorry, it's supposed to be O. So I would say O equals 4 atoms of oxygen. So in this compound we have 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of sulfur, 4 atoms of oxygen. 4 atoms of oxygen. I would also like us, for the sake of practice, let's try a compound like this. We are having C. Now note, I want to say something before but let me write the compound down. CaNO3. Then you have 2 at the outside. But before we tackle this, let me say something here. In interpreting these 2 compounds, note at the front of each of them here you have 1 1. So we have 1 here. So this is called 1 molecule of H2SO4. So we'll say 1 molecule of H2SO4. This would be what? You got it right. 1 molecule of KMnO4. So I would indicate 1 molecule of KMnO4. You got it. Now would answer this one. Note, since there's no number here, it's one molecule. So I'm going to indicate one. So just like we did previously, there's an invisible one down here. So I'll say 1 times 1, which is 1. So this is 1. So calcium, Ca, let me rub this. Ca, calcium equals 1 atom. Or I'd rather we start with the molecule. So it is 1 molecule of Ca in bracket NO3 2. So note, I'm not calling the name of the compound. This is because in the next clip I'll teach from scratch how to actually name this compound. Very easy. I'll make it very simple. So we'd say 1 mole of Ca in bracket NO3 NO3, you have two. So next would focus on the moles, sorry, the atoms. So here we have, and so would continue. We have 1 mole of Ca NO3 in parentheses. This thing is not called bracket. In chemistry, we call it parentheses. This. So, and so here we have 1 mole, due to the 1 at the front of everything, 1 mole of Ca parentheses, in parentheses NO3 close bracket, or sorry, in parentheses NO3 2. So next thing is would focus on the number of atoms. So recall we said there will be an invisible one here. So we'll say 1 times 1. So you have calcium to be 1 atom. The number of atom, 1 atom. We'll move to the next one, nitrogen. Now you say these two affects everything in the bracket. These two affect everything in the bracket. So it becomes this one. Now you say 2 times 1 is 2. So this nitrogen becomes 2 atoms. So we'll say nitrogen equals 2 atoms, which is 2 atoms. And lastly, we have oxygen. We'll say 3. We'll first say 2 times 3 will give us 6. Then we'll say 6 times 1 is what? 6. So it's 6 atoms of oxygen. So oxygen is 6 atoms. 6 atoms. Recall how we got our 6. We say 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is what? 6. 6 times 1, 6. So that's how we're able to get 6 atoms for oxygen. Would you like to perform specific tasks on this? Click on the link in the description box. You win. Just believe.